Republican lawmakers are moving forward with promises to repeal President Obama's signature health care law, the Affordable Care Act. On Thursday, the Senate voted nearly along party lines on a budget resolution towards that aim. Then on Friday, the House voted through a similar measure, also nearly along party lines. But there are still many hoops to jump through. Daniel Lippman is co-author of Politico's Playbook and joins me now from Washington. Daniel, so both the Senate and House have now voted to put the process into motion. What comes next?
They have to really hammer out a replace package. Senator Rand Paul, he tweeted about something yesterday, but they're trying to find a way to cover these 20 million Americans who were covered by Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act, because if they just repeal it and without a replacement package, then those people could be really angry about Republicans ripping away their health care. And so they're going to meet in committees, and President-elect Trump is going to discuss with Republican leaders about what exactly they should replace it with and if they should do it concurrently. Because if they just repeal it without having a replacement package immediately, then they could just kick the can down the road forever, because it's really going to be hard politically for them to keep some of the taxes that have kept Obamacare in place.
Well, Vice President-elect Mike Pence said Sunday the replacement part of repeal and replace will occur in the first 100 days of Donald Trump's presidency. What do you think, Daniel, the odds of that are?
I think it's pretty high odds, because Republican voters who put Trump into the White House, they are eager to see President Obama's health care initiative totally struck from the law. And if they don't do this action, then that undermines a huge campaign promise that Trump has made. He's called Obamacare a disaster, and so if he keeps it in place for a long time and they don't do it on the Hill, then his voters will get angry because he's violating one of his promises. The ironic thing is that a lot of his voters benefit from the reforms that Obamacare put into place, because a lot of these people are working class voters, and even if they may not admit it, they gain some benefits from the insurance market being more regulated because of the Affordable Care Act. And so it's almost like that old sign they had in when there's huge Obamacare protests: keep your you keep your government hands off my Medicare. And so I'm always reminded of that when voters themselves, they're against it because it's called Obamacare, but they still want to get some of the benefits.
Well, you mentioned, Daniel, earlier, Senator Rand Paul. Last week, Senator Paul was the only Republican senator to vote against the repeal because of high budget deficits. He's since tweeted, as you mentioned, that he's drafted his own version of a replacement, saying there should not be a repeal without a replacement. Let's go ahead and listen to him this morning.
I believe that it's incredibly important that we do replacement on the same day as we do repeal. We've had 6 years to complain, and we have complained. I've been one of those complaining about Obamacare. Replacement should be the same day. The replacement bill that we put together, our goal is to ensure the most amount of people, give access to the most amount of people at the least amount of cost. And I think this is where Obamacare failed. They wanted to insure people, their motives were good, their heart was in the right place, but they put so many mandates in it that they made it too expensive.
So, Daniel, where exactly does this stand right now, this debate over whether to wait until there's a new plan before the old one is repealed?
I think a lot of the more conservative members of Congress, they want to just get it over with and repeal it, and they don't care as much about replacing it. But some of the more moderate senators who are less, in touch with, Trump, remember Rand Paul ran against Trump. Some of those more moderate Republicans, they don't exist a lot on the Hill, but they are obsessed, because if they don't have a replacement package immediately, then it could become a political albatross on Republicans' heads, because those millions of Americans who lost health care because they did not get a replacement plan, then they're going to be banging down the doors of their representatives saying, why are you taking away my health care? Already on Capitol Hill, there are thousands of people calling up their Republican members of Congress saying, please don't cancel it without a replacement plan, or else my grandmother might, it wouldn't be good for her.
Right. A lot of people will be watching this very closely. Daniel Lippman, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Elaine.